The club was alive with flashing lights, pulsing bass, and laughter that drowned in the rhythm of the music. For everyone else, it was just another Friday night. For me, it was a night to let loose, to breathe outside the suffocating boundaries of marriage, and for a while, I convinced myself I deserved it. I told James, my husband, that it was just a girls' night. I left in a red dress he never liked, too bold for his taste, too loud for his calm personality. But that night, I didn't want calm, I wanted chaos, attention, and the kind of thrill he never gave me. At the bar, there was Ryan, someone I had been secretly texting for weeks. He wasn't special, just different. Different enough to make me feel young, seen, and reckless again. We laughed over drinks, his hand brushing against mine in a way James never would in public. The music roared so loudly I couldn't even hear my conscience whispering that this was wrong. I thought the crowd, the shadows, the chaos of the night would keep my sins safe. But in the middle of the noise, I noticed something that made my heart freeze, the unmistakable figure of my husband, standing near the corner of the room. He wasn't shouting. He wasn't charging toward me. He wasn't demanding explanations. He was just watching. His silence was louder than the music. I stumbled, my drink nearly slipping from my hand. Ryan leaned closer, shouting, "You okay?" But his voice felt distant, muffled compared to the sharp clarity of James's gaze. His eyes weren't wild with anger. They weren't filled with hate. They were simply empty. And that emptiness scared me more than rage ever could. I excused myself from Ryan, pretending I needed the bathroom, and made my way toward James, my heart pounding harder than the bass line. "James," I whispered, though my words were lost in the noise. "I can explain." He didn't flinch. He didn't blink. He just looked at me with a calmness so unnatural it felt like standing at the edge of a cliff, waiting for the ground to crumble. Then, without a word, he turned and walked toward the exit. Panic surged through me. I chased after him, heels clattering on the tiled floor, shoving past dancers and waiters. "James! Please, wait!" I called as the music swallowed my voice. But he didn't stop. By the time I reached outside, the cold air hit me like a punishment. James was already across the street, unlocking his car. I ran toward him, tears smudging my makeup. It wasn't what it looked like. I shouted. My words tumbled, desperate, but his silence continued to answer me louder than anything I could say. He slid into the car, shut the door, and for a moment, I thought he might roll the window down, give me a chance to speak. Instead, he started the engine. I placed my hands on the glass, begging, "Please, talk to me. Don't do this." But he drove away, leaving me standing under the flickering streetlight, the club's muffled music bleeding into the night behind me. That silence became the last conversation we ever had. The next morning, I came home to find his side of the wardrobe empty, his toothbrush gone, and a note on the kitchen counter. It wasn't an angry letter, not even a list of accusations. Just a single sentence written in his steady handwriting. "I don't need words to understand the truth." That broke me more than any screaming could have. For days, I tried calling him, messaging him, begging for a chance to explain even though I knew there was no explanation that could undo what he saw. He never replied. His silence stretched into days, then weeks, until it became the wall between us, impenetrable and final. Friends told me he had moved out of town, transferred his job, cut off every tie that connected him to me. They called it starting over. I called it punishment. And the cruelest part was that I couldn't even blame him. I still replay that night in my head, the blinding lights, the drunken laughter, Ryan's shallow compliments, and then the way it all collapsed when I saw James's face in the crowd. The music was deafening, but it was his silence, heavy and absolute, that ended our marriage in an instant. Sometimes I imagine what it would have been like if he had shouted, demanded answers, fought for me. Maybe then I could have begged forgiveness, promised change, rebuilt something from the ashes. But he didn't give me that chance. He didn't even give me a word. Just silence. And in that silence, everything we had, every laugh, every promise, every quiet night spent in each other's arms, died. Now, when I hear loud music in crowded places, it doesn't make me feel alive. It makes me feel hollow. Because I know no sound will ever drown out the echo of his silence, the silence that ended everything.